Vamos a intentar desvelarles cómo ha ido la sesión en Asia, cuáles son los desafíos de la segunda mayor economía del mundo. Vamos a saludar a nuestra compañera, nuestra colega de CGTN, Zhu Zhu, CGTN. Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, Asian session has concluded. Uncertainty continues in Shanghai, while Hong Kong, Hang Seng show slight gains. Do you think there are signs of exhaustion after the Shanghai index reached its highest level in a decade? How did the session go, and which sectors or players were the most prominent?
Yes, you are exactly right. The Shanghai Composite Index closed the session down 0.42%, showing a slight pullback after its recent highs. This could indeed be seen as a sign of exhaustion, especially since the market has reached its highest level in a decade earlier, like you mentioned. And the session was marked by significant sector divergence, with defensive sectors like consumer and cyclical stocks outperforming, while growth stocks, particularly in the tech sector, struggled. For instance, the food and beverage sector saw very strong performances, with stocks like Hualejia hitting their daily limit due to expectations of an uptick in consumer spending during the year-end season, and especially right now after China's Double 11 festival, the largest shopping online festival. And similarly, GCL Poly Energy in the photovoltaic equipment sector surged on the back of supportive government policies for renewable energy. However, the tech-heavy sectors such as semiconductor stocks and AI hardware took a hit, with companies like Shanghai IC seeing declines of nearly 10%.
Let's talk about Singles Day in China. Some websites, Zhu Zhu, have reported a 60% increase in purchase. Are there figures better than last year? Do you think this indicates a recovery in domestic consumption?
Yes, the reported 60% increase in purchases during Singles Days is indeed impressive, and it surpassed last year's growth, indicating a very strong rebound in consumer activity. According to the latest data from e-commerce platform JD.com, by the midnight of November 11th, the platform has set a new record for transaction volume, with the number of users growing by 40% and order volume increasing by nearly 60%. This is a clear sign of robust demand, especially in some key categories. In particular, electronics and AI-powered products have seen a dramatic rise. For instance, the sales of new mobile phones on JD.com grew over 4 times compared to last year. Other products like AI tablets also saw a 200% increase in sales, while AI smartphones with large screens grew by 150%. Even niche products like AI glasses, smart speakers, and home storage devices also grew by over 100%. Home appliances and furniture also performed very well, with new product sales increasing by 150%. And the integrated delivery and installation service saw its order volume grew by more than 90%. So all of these figures suggest that consumers are willing to spend more on both like everyday essentials and also those high-tech items, reinforcing the idea that domestic consumption is on the path to recovery. However, it is still very important to consider that these events often generate a temporary surge in sales. So we will still need to see if this trend continues in the longer term outside of such promotional periods. So let's wait and see.
And finally, beyond small purchase, Web learned that car sales in mainland China increased 80.8% year on year in October, the largest increase in 10 months. What implications does this rebound have for the industry, and to what extent is this growth dependent on subsidies on financial incentives?
Yes, the 8.8% year-on-year increase in car sales in October is quite a positive development for China's auto industry, especially given the challenging economic climate over the past couple of years. And what's most notable is the very strong performance of new energy vehicles, which now account for nearly 60% of the total retail sales of passenger cars in China, an increase of 4.3 percentage points compared to the same period last year. Well, if you look deeper into the data, domestic Chinese brands have led the charge in the NEV market with a penetration rate of 77.9%, which means that nearly 8 out of 10 cars sold by Chinese brands are now electric or hybrid cars. In contrast, luxury car brands saw only like 22.2% of their sales come from NEVs, and mainstream joint venture brands lag even further at just 7%. So this indicates a shift in consumer performance towards more sustainable, affordable, and locally developed vehicles, with domestic brands capitalizing on the growing demand for NEVs. Also, in contrast, traditional giants like Tesla saw their market share shrink by 1.4 percentage points, suggesting that competition is still very intensifying. And domestic brands are becoming stronger contenders. So the dominance of domestic brands in the NEV market shows a strategic shift with China's automotive landscape. Local manufacturers are now increasingly leading the charge in innovation and also in market share.
Zhu Zhu, CGTN, thank you for coming to Negocios TV. Xie xie.
Thank you very much.